So in the last video we added the ability to send a basic string to our UART driver. In this video we'd like to go further and handle the ability to send formatted strings where we want to embed variables within a string that we want to send debug information or information from our program to a host processor or to a terminal. So what we're going to do is look at standard I/O functionality, and if we scroll down we see that there's an example. So here we have an example of what we must do when we need a formatted string, and we'll use this, but in order to understand what's happening here I recommend that you have a look at a couple of other tutorials using standard I/O streams in AVR GCC. And here you can see that what we're doing is we're returning a number of bytes in the printf. There's a destination stream, a formatted string, and then a comma separated arguments for each specifier. And then there's another tutorial here, what printf does, also very good. But what we can see here is that there's our put char is a static int and has both a file and a stream, and then we set up this file, and okay, so let's have a look and paste this into main. So recall that we must add standard I/O, and so we need a put char character of this type, static int UART put char. So what we're going to do is modify our existing put char and make sure that we have the same variable types that was used here. So we have a transmit function, and just to put this here as a reference, and we're going to copy this transmit function, and we need to return an int and a char data and a file pointer to stream. Okay, and we will also need to add standard I/O to this file here. And we're going to make this I/O. Okay, now what we need to do is add a function prototype, and we should be able to use this now in main. Now let's also look at some of those examples to see how this is used. Okay, and let's test and see if it works. We forgot to replace your put char with standard I/O. Let's try again. And you can see that we're now putting a formatted string through there. So let's remove the hello world. And what if I wanted to count a certain number of iterations of something and display that? Let's search for AVR for loop syntax if I was new to this. And let's try and see what we have here as the first one. You can see that there's some syntax here on for loops, and here's an example. Let's put this in a while one. And now what we'd also like to put on our string is a space I. Oh, that's u, because it's also an unsigned int, comma I. And now we should perhaps put a delay in between, and perhaps a 500 millisecond delay here. Okay, so we define that as an int I. Okay, and let's try and see if this works. Just clearing our terminal, connecting. And you can see the count now as we're moving through the loop. So we should be able to now use this functionality to put our formatted strings and variables and debug information to a terminal or host microprocessor. And we'll probably come back to this when we're using the ADC later on as that use case that we talked about right in video 1. Thank you.